was a secret between me and Eunice, so it is God who knows. I think even the red MP knows nothing. Ni mtu amejipata offside bila yeye kujua angako wapi. Si true story yake. I cannot talk more about him because I know nothing about him.
Both the civilian who was shot dead and the officer were dating.
It's either Eunice aligusa trigger ama mimi, hapo sikatai, because there was a struggle.
And therefore we are treating this initially as a crime of passion.
Not a crime of passion. It is a crime like the way Were died.
Alikuwa amesimama nje ya uwanja, alikuwa ameketi chini. Akashutiwa moja akaanguka. Alafu akarudiwa ingine akaanguka chini tena.
Mimi nikatoa bunduki yangu. Yeye nilikuwa nimeweka hapo. I was armed with a siska. Kuitoa tu hivi, I had 2 gunshots. Sasa nikajua kumbe jamaa anataka kufanya nini? Kunimaliza. Ndio wakati nilichukua bunduki yangu nikafire to that person.
Tonight on Case Files, 2 police officers and a member of parliament are caught up in a love affair that ends up in a highway gun drama. The man who killed the member of parliament and a woman he says he loved speaks for the first time 5 years after he was jailed by a Nakuru court. Case Files starts now. Two police officers, 1 member of parliament, and between them a love triangle with a tragic end. For a policeman who was supposed to enforce the law and not to break it, Andrew Mweche's story represents the lengths to which a man can go to keep a woman he loves. And when the rival is a member of parliament, the story becomes even more dramatic. Andrew Mweche Mwenga was up until December 2008 a traffic police officer attached to Eldoret Police Station. Girls love her name, Eunice Chepkwony.
Mara yangu ya kwanza kukutana na Eunice ilikuwa Kiganjo. Kiganjo, maisha ya Kiganjo ni tofauti sana, ni maisha ngumu. Tulichuana tu kwa kuongea, akawa rafiki yangu. Tukawa tuna associate na yeye what and what when we are in the route march, wakati tunatembea nje tunakuwa train tuko na associate na yeye. Na at least tulifika mahali tukaelewana tutakuwa marafiki. All of a sudden tulimaliza course. Tuliweza kusomewa. Mimi nikakuta nimetumwa naenda Rift Valley province. Na Eunice anaenda Nyanza.
Back in the 90s, mobile phones belonged to a selected few, and so communication between Eunice and Andrew was limited to posted letters and occasional phone calls from fixed lines. But that quickly changed when Eunice was posted to a far-flung area. The two lost contact for a while, but fate will dictate otherwise.
Mpaka mwaka wa 2005. What's fun? Niliweza kuenda interview. Kuna siku nilikuja nika-apply. Nikuwe police rider. Nikaitwa police training school Nairobi. Nikaenda Nairobi. Nika-train. After the course, nikawa posted in Eldoret under traffic section. Nikiendesha hiyo pikipiki kubwa. Kwa sababu huko KIO niliserve hiyo pikipiki kubwa, sifanyi kazi kwa sinafanya ni pick downs. Ile kitu ilikuwa maajabu ni kwamba mimi kwenda kufika Eldoret. Nilikuta Eunice kwa ofisi. Hiyo ofisi nitumwa hapo. Wakati nafanywa introduction kwa ofisi, wale maofisa walikuwa huko, ile mtu nilijua ni Eunice because she was marketed me.
By the time the two met, a lot had transpired. Eunice had been married and had children. Andrew was also a taken man. According to Andrew, the unspoken word between them was it was now impossible for them to alter their marital status, but they picked up from where they had left it off anyway. Things, however, changed when the husband Eunice passed on. Coincidentally, the husband was also a police officer. Their affection for each other was now an open secret. Fellow police officers noticed Andrew had a soft spot for a woman he would later kill in the most unusual way, at an unusual place and in the company of a man who would later claim was a stranger, David Kimtaito, at the time a Inamoi Member of Parliament. Weeks of affection turned into months of intense love. Andrew says he could no longer keep his love affair with his fellow police officer a secret.
Maneno ya transfer kagawa sisi na sasa tumekutana, Mungu ametukutanisha, let us renew our friendship. Niliweza kukubali nani kawa na Eunice. Kuanzia saa hiyo urafiki yetu ile ya kikanje ikafufanya nini? Ikafufuka. Sasa hapa tukaanza kuwa closer. Very closer. Ikafika mpaka mahali nika introduce Eunice to my brother ambaye yako Nairobi. Nika introduce Eunice to my sisters.
The news, according to Andrew, did not break his wife's heart. Andrew was now spending most of his time with his lover Eunice. But almost after 1 year, rumors started doing rounds about the health status of Eunice.
Fika wakati askari moja aenda aeleze pipi ingine ya mwenzangu ambaye alikuwa police commander, eti amepata clear inform, ako na ripoti ya kutosha ya kwamba Eunice was HIV. Hiyo kitu iliweza kunistua, yani iliweza kustua bibi yangu. Bibi yangu akawa wasimu mpaka kuja kwa ofisi aleta fujo. Nikaambia tuende nyumbani tuongee maneno. Wakati tulifika nyumbani tujaribu kusolve, nikaona ako juu na niliweza kumpiga. Akatulia, akarelax, akapaki, akatulia.
And things got worse when Eunice told Andrew about a new entrant, David Kimtaito. Andrew says at the time he had no idea that the man he would later kill was a member of parliament.
Mimi nilikuwa kazi katika Uganda Road. Hiyo barabara ndio mimi nafanyanga kazi. Ukiangalia hiyo barabara ni highway. Kuna mahali magari na bebea watu hapa. Haitaka ni bebea hapo. Hapo ndio nilikuwa na patrol. Huwa naenda naweka pikipiki yangu maana inaitwa chomba. Hapo ndio naweka pikipiki. Wakati Eunice walikuja mpaka hapo. Yani nikiwa kwa barabara nikaona gari ya Eunice inapanda kutoka chini na kuja. Obviously mimi nimesimama kwa barabara. Eunice anakuja mpaka ndio maneno ilianzia. Akaniambia wewe mchingo unalibia mimi sina kwa, nikamwambia ilikuwa niko nini? Sasa Eunice yako kuwasaidia. Na mtu mwenye ana drive gari yake ni mtu, it is a new face.
It is not clear why the two decided to show up at Andrew Moeche's workstation, but an agreement was reached between them. An open field in West Indies area in Eldoret is where the trio decided to meet to iron out their differences.
Nikamwambia Eunice hakuna haja tukorofishane kwa hapa barabara. Hebu tusonge kanda, akaniambia ngoja tuende hapa kwa kiwanja ya railways.
The love affair between Eunice and Andrew was facing its most trying moment yet. At about 10 a.m. the 31st of December 2008, a vehicle pulled over outside this open field. Its occupants, Eunice and a man at the time only identified to Andrew as David. Andrew also pulled over with his police outrider.
Kuficha waliteremka mahali hivi wakapaka kali, na hata hao ni watu walikuwa ni kama walikuwa na watu kwa nataka mtu atuone. Wao ndio walipaki gari mahali walienda wakapaki hivi. Ndio wakatoka. Mimi kuangalia nyuma wameingia mahali nikapendua pikipiki. So our intention was to discuss ile Peter na Eunice alikuwa naye. Sasa kitu ya kwanza wakati Eunice alisuka kutoka kwa hiyo gari, alafu baadaye mwanaume ndiye akasuka kutoka kwa hiyo gari. Ile kitu nakuambia ilifanyika ni maajabu ya Mungu.
At the time, the country was up in flames. The presidential elections had gone wrong and the country was engulfed in deadly chaos. And Eldoret was an epicenter of the violence.
Sasa hapo nilikwambia Eunice support, unachua wewe kama ni positive hata nini positive. Kwa hivyo nia yako ni kuua watu, unaambukiza huyu unaenda huyu na huyu unaenda, sasa nimetea mjinga mwingine akuje kuniua.
The confrontation between the two was taking place just a few yards away from the motor vehicle where David Kimtaito was. David, a newly elected member of parliament, was in the driver's seat. That was when Andrew says the unlikely transpired.
Sasa kuambia yeye unaletea mchinga ingine, hii chama kawa so harsh. Eti unanitusi na namna gani. Eunice aliweza kukasirika, akatoa bunduki. She was the first person to produce a gun. The first person to produce a gun. Sasa on the process ya kutoa ile bunduki na ile asira alikuwa naye, nilikuwa nataka kujidefend first. Nilirukia yeye. Kurukia yeye. Wacha nikuambie story hata saa hii. Mimi naona kama ni miujiza mpaka sasa hivi na kueleza story. Ni miujiza nyingine kubwa sana. Kurukia yeye, ile bunduki iliweza kufanya nini? Kuanguka kutoka mkono yake kaenda upande hivi. Kwenda upande ile chamandi alikimbia akapick that gun. Kupick that gun. Ile kitu nataka ni mimi nikatoa bunduki yangu. Yeye nilikuwa nimeweka hapo. I was armed with a siska. Kuitoa tu hivi, I had 2 gunshots. Sasa nikajua kumbe jamaa anataka kufanya nini? Kunimaliza. Ndio wakati nilichukua bunduki yangu nikafire to that person. Wakati nilifire na yeye nikapaki tunangangana na Eunice.
Andrew claims he does not remember seeing David Kimtai's face slump on the steering wheel, but he recalls pulling out his gun and shooting in the MP's direction at least 2 times. David Kimtai had died. Eunice had been shot too, but she was not dead by the time fellow police officers arrived at the scene. The news of the killing of the Aina Moi Member of Parliament threw Eldoret town into a panic mode. Kericho County, where the Aina Moi Member of Parliament hailed from, erupted. At the time, the only information available to the media was that a police officer, a Kisibai tribe, had shot dead a Kalenjin Member of Parliament. Tribe at the height of the post-election violence was such a sensitive affair. But back in the city, police headquarters had by now been told that another Member of Parliament had been shot dead.
And therefore we are treating this initially as a crime of passion.
Only 2 days, another ODM Member of Parliament, Melitas Mugabe, aware of Embakasi, had been killed by unknown gunmen as he drove home in Woodley area.
Nikaona the best thing ni kuenda kwa station ni ripoti maneno. Nataka nikuulize swali moja. Wewe kama you are a criminal and you committed an offense like this, unaweza kubali ujipeleke polisi? You cannot. On the mimi niko na pocket phone yenye natembea nayo saa raida. On the process wakati nafika station nakuta hiyo kitu inakuwa circulated kwa radio. Alafu hata ile mkubwa alikuwa control sema mkipata hiyo rider is dangerously armed, shoot him. Hiyo kitu ikanisikia. Nikapendua pikipiki nikaelekea njia ya Talibo. Kwenda njia ya Talibo, what comes to my mind, nikachua this communication is only for the police. It's not for the administration police. Mimi mwenyewe nikaenda mpaka AP camp. Nikapata maskari.
Members of the Kisii community were targeted in Kericho and Eldoret towns. The feeling was that To's killing was a politically motivated assassination, an extension of the post-election dispute. But that was until a background check was carried out on the 2 police officers, Eunice and Andrew. But To's party ODM was outraged and termed the killing an assassination.
Ni aibu kwa komishona ya polisi kusema maneno ya kusingizia. Ninasema ya kwamba haiwezekani kwa mdomo wake anamaliza kesi kwa haraka sana.
By this time, a decision had been made by the police that Andrew Mwecho Mwenga was to stand trial for the murder of 2 people, his longtime lover Eunice Chepkwony and Aina Moi Member of Parliament David Kimtai. A few days later, Andrew Mwecho Mwenga was charged before a Nakuru court with 2 counts of murder. It was before a trial judge, Justice D.K. Maraga, that details of what exactly transpired at West Indies Estate in Eldoret town started to emerge. The court was treating the killing as a pure case of homicide. The state lined up 23 witnesses in a trial that lasted 10 months, one of the shortest murder trials in the country at the time. A witness who appeared before Justice Maraga told the court that she had come across a smartly dressed man and a woman in a heated confrontation. The two stood outside a motor vehicle. The witness said she made for a friend's house but stopped when she heard the woman scream. She ran back and discovered Eunice was kneeling and begging Andrew not to kill her. Andrew, she claimed, slapped her several times, whipped out his gun and shot her. The witness claimed Andrew then left the woman lying on the ground and went for David Kimtai in the car and shot him several times. A second witness told the court he heard gunshots before running towards the direction where several shots had been fired from. He stumbled upon a man lying on the steering wheel of a red motor vehicle. The man was bleeding. Just a few meters away from the car was a woman who had also been shot but was still alive. Why will Andrew gun down two people? One he had confessed his love for, and the other he had claimed was a total stranger. The court was at pains to establish the motive behind the gruesome killings. A police ballistics expert, even though not at the scene of the murder, recreated the scene of the shooting for the trial judge. The expert contradicting the evidence of two key witnesses the police had relied on in charging Andrew Mweche with murder. The gun examiner told the court Eunice had not been shot dead while in a kneeling position. She was in an upright standing position. Coincidentally, it was a wedding band on Eunice's ring finger that had a bullet hole with an upward trajectory, meaning Eunice had been shot while standing. A pathologist also made the same findings. David Kimtai, the court was told, had been shot while standing, not in the car, unlike what two witnesses had told the trial court that sat in Nakuru. David had been shot several times in the head, chest and his lower body. The court was told it was unlikely the MP was shot while he sat in the car. It would later emerge that the prosecution had done a shoddy job in prosecuting the case against Andrew Mweche. The two witnesses had given what had appeared as unreliable evidence in court. Case Files takes a short break. Files, it was controlling traffic on Uganda Road in Eldoret town when Eunice and David pulled over. He says he had no idea at the time that David was a member of parliament.
Eunice ndio mimi nachua. Huyu Teret ambaye nilikuja kuchua baadaye eti alikuwa mbunge. Simuchui na simfahamu mpaka saa hii nikiwa chera. Picha yake niliona tu kwa gazeti.
But when Andrew finally had his day in court, he told the trial judge that on the material day, while on a police beat, he came across Eunice standing at the rear of her car. Eunice had worn a long face and was moody. Moments later, a man emerged from the car and started abusing him. Eunice intervened and started insulting him, accusing him of spreading word that she was HIV positive. Andrew told the trial judge that while arguing with Eunice, he turned around and noticed a gun trained on him. He held on to Eunice as a human shield before he had two gunshots. He fired back and followed up David into the car and shot him again. Andrew claims Eunice then accidentally shot herself in the confusion. The burden of proof was now squarely on the prosecution to establish that Andrew Mweche indeed had the motive, time and place to kill the two. The judge held that Andrew was a provoked man, since together with Eunice had purchased the motor vehicle in which David Kimtai was shot. After a few months on trial, the charges of murder were reduced to manslaughter. Andrew had acted in self-defense, according to the judge. It will later emerge in court that David could have been armed with a gun during the ugly confrontation at West Indies Estate, where he was gunned down alongside Eunice Chepkwony. Indeed, the court would later rule that police had deliberately concealed crucial evidence that could have seen Andrew Mweche charged with the lesser crime of manslaughter in the first place.
I'm so sorry. Even I quoted this before court through my lawyer. I'm so sorry for what happened. Lakini ilitendeka ni kweli. The big question was, am I a criminal? nilipanga kutenda hii kitu.
The presence of a third gun at the scene of the murder addressed the eyebrows of the trial judge after it emerged that the official firearms register had been tampered with. Someone at the armory had issued Eunice with 2 guns, a handgun and a G3 assault rifle. The judge ruled that David Kimtai came out of the car with a G3 rifle when he had a heated exchange between Andrew and Eunice on the material day. Andrew, according to the court, was a provoked man and was facing 2 armed people, a long-time lover and a new rival. Andrew had claimed Eunice accidentally shot herself or his gun accidentally went off.
Iko honi. In the process ya kungangana sasa hapa ndio ili kiza nitanga mimi ndio nilifinya tuliga ama ni Eunice. I think hiyo demo ikionyeshwa sasa ibundu tena anataka nisotikalia. Sasa nikakuta Eunice amefanya nini? Ameanguka chini. Hapa ndio nataka nikuwekee msuri. Hapa it is 8. Eunice yalibusa trigger ama mimi. Hapo sikatai.
But the judge ruled that it was in fact Andrew who shot and killed Eunice before turning the same gun on David. It will later emerge that Andrew killed David Kimtaito and his newly found catch, Eunice Chepkwony, without either of them firing a single shot. On the 29th of October 2009, Justice D.K. Maraga reached his verdict. Andrew Mwech had not intended to kill the duo. The man was simply provoked. The judge, however, faulted him for using excessive force. Andrew Mwech Omwenga got the maximum 10 years for manslaughter. Back in Ainamoi, the family of Eunice Chepkwony believes Andrew was deliberately out to end the life of their sole breadwinner. Eunice is laid to rest next to the grave of her husband. Coincidentally, Eunice and the slain Member of Parliament David Kimtai-To came from the same locality. When Case Files contacted the widow of the slain Member of Parliament, she declined to grant us an interview. Andrew is currently being held at Kisii Main Prison and is due to be released in 2016. That will be 9 years after he killed the woman he once loved and a Member of Parliament who never had a chance to prove his leadership skills as a legislator.
I'm so sorry for what happened. Lakini ilitendeka ni kweli. The big question was, am I a criminal? Nilipanga kutenda hii kitu. Hii ndio story nasema hapa ndio ile siku itakuwa ya mwisho Mungu atakuja kupea watu the reality na watashangaa.
He now sits quietly reflecting on a love triangle that pitted a law enforcer against a lawmaker and ended in tragedy and the loss of his freedom.
Mimi upande yangu na raumu Eunice ndiye amesababisha hii maneno na hata Mungu anajua. Hii kusafa na safa jera na safa because of Eunice. Not the rate MP. Hata ile kifo mbunga amebeba, mimi nafikiri iko kwa mikono ya Eunice. Kama sio Eunice, yule mbunge angekufa. Kama sio Eunice, mimi singekuwa chera.
Next week on Case Files, who killed Pio Gama Pinto?
Hakuna mtu alisimama akasema niliona Kisilu akiua Gama Pinto.
Hakuna. Wacha hivyo. Niliona mtu kama sura kama Kisilu.
We detail a cover-up into the murder of the former Member of Parliament killed in the first political assassination in the country. I'm Dennis Onsarigo for Case Files.